So a couple days ago, Rachel made an absolutely wonderful vegetable broth. She filled our 18-quart roasting pan with onion scraps, basically the skins and the outer peels, carrots, and 2-gallon bags of pea pods, basically the outer shell from the peas that we grew in our garden last year. Turned out amazing. Wonderful color, wonderful flavor. And one of the byproducts of doing this, you end up with a lot of bits, a lot of scrap left over at the end of all the stuff that you strain out of your broth to keep it clear. She came up with an idea and she said, hey, why don't we try to freeze dry that, turn it into a powder, and see if it would make a good seasoning for food. And I thought, well, sure, let's give it a try. So that's what we're going to work on today. When she got done with the broth, I spent some time and I removed about 1/3 of the pea pods because it was really, really green heavy, and I wanted to try to balance things out a little bit. I then portioned it out. I put it on the trays to our freeze dryer. My intention was to basically move these out to the garage where they would freeze, and I didn't want to freeze it all in one big chunk. So by portioning it off now, when it goes out into the garage and it freezes, I don't have to try to figure out how to break up this big giant chunk of vegetable bits. And it was also another cool opportunity for me to try out the new lids that Harvest Right just came out with. They seem pretty darn sturdy. They clip on well. They allow you to stack your trays, so you don't have to use little stacking clip things. And it also was kind of a funny byproduct benefit to me, was that I have a bunch of squirrels that live in my garage, and this has been basically sitting out in my garage now for about 3 days, and it kept the squirrels out too. So everything is frozen rock solid now. These trays, you can also use them if you don't have a second set of trays for your freeze dryer. These lids can also double as an extra set of trays. You just flip them over. You can fill these with food, slide them right into your freeze dryer, and you got a whole extra set of trays. So about 15 minutes ago, I turned on the freeze dryer down in the basement. It's been cooling. I'm going to give it another 10, 15 minutes just to cool down all the way. We'll bring these downstairs, put them in the freeze dryer. We'll let it run through its cycle. It's probably going to take a good 24 hours, maybe a little longer. There's quite a bit of mass to some of these. I hope I didn't overload them, but that's kind of how they turned out there. Then once the freeze dry process is done, we'll turn it into a powder. We'll taste it. If it tastes decent, we'll try to adjust the seasoning a little bit with some salt and pepper. Let's see if we can make ourselves a cool, homegrown food seasoning from something that we would normally just probably feed to our chickens. I apologize if it's a bit noisy. The furnace is running right now. I turned this off just for quietness purposes when I'm filming. But that's how they... What do you guys think? Do you think it's going to turn out? Or do you think it's going to taste like garbage? I don't know. I think it's going to have a really pretty rich flavor to it. There's I'm not quite sure if some of the stems and stuff from the pea pods, I don't know how well they're going to powder. And the skins from the onions, you know, like the paper skins, I don't know how well that's going to powder. Our blender that we have is a Vitamix, so it's pretty darn powerful. So maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll pulverize all of this stuff. Everything good? My drain is closed. I can turn this back on and hit start. Previous job was interrupted because I turned it off. Food is loaded, drain is closed. All right, we'll see you guys back here tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a pretty color, I think.
Yeah, so it's been a couple days. They finished, 2 days ago?
Yeah.
Something like that, but we just left it down there in the freeze dryer because we've just been really busy the last couple days. And you can kind of do that. You can just leave your freeze dryer, just let it keep running, and it'll hold everything where it is. So it reminds me of dried leaves.
Yeah.
Everything is just so dry and so powdery. I'll show you one of these carrots. Yeah. Break it open, and it's still like orange on the inside.
It's kind of a dark color.
So we're gonna get these into our blender and get them all powdered up, and then taste it. This was your idea. Do you think it's gonna work?
Well, I think everybody thinks it's going to work because they all guessed what we
They
were
did.
doing.
Everybody guessed it right.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's probably a common idea, and we might kick ours up a notch with some salt and other seasonings, but I think, I tried a new seasoning when I was at my son's house, and it's kind of similar to the Everything But the Bagel seasoning from Trader Joe's, but it's called Everything But the Leftovers, and it's so, so good. It's like if Thanksgiving was a seasoning, that's what it tastes like.
Oh, yeah, you told me about that.
Oh, it's amazing. I need to find the recipe. But I think that this is going to be something similar to that is just a real good general all-purpose seasoning.
Wow, it smells amazing.
Is it? Oh, it does. That's awesome.
Yeah. You got your spoon?
Okay. So we were just saying, how should we taste it? I got a little tiny bit on the spoon. Put it on the tongue. It smells better than it tastes. I think I immediately thought of mashed potatoes, like a yummy mashed potato seasoning. It definitely has that everything but the leftover kind of flavor to it. It definitely needs salt.
Yeah. It's almost hard to taste because it's so dry when you put it on your tongue. All your saliva disappears.
Yeah. That's why maybe like a piece of bread with butter on it or something, you could get the taste better. I don't know.
And it tastes like vegetables. And it smells really good.
It smells fantastic. I know it would be good with other things, like enhancing the flavor.
Now put a little salt in this batch.
Well, I think that I'd like to just make it and then just have
Just
it.
leave it as a powder with nothing in it.
I would like to grind it all and add salt to it all, and then that way we don't have to think about it. It's just already done.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't make very much. One whole tray. How much salt you think?
No clue. You're the cook man.
I'm the cook man? Oh, I'm sitting on the broken chair. Let's try like 2 spoons.
Okay. It's not salty though.
Not salty?
2 more.
2 more?
Yeah. We like salty stuff.
Okay.
That tastes like seasoning.
Oh, yeah.
See?
So we put some pepper in it?
Yeah. There you go. Don't forget your lid.
Yeah, it tastes good. That tastes like,
That's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah. It tastes like I can definitely picture that rehydrating into a nice veggie soup base, but just as a seasoning itself,
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is what I wanted. I wanted to make my own homemade seasoning out of it, but I saw all your comments to use it as like vegetable bouillon, which is a great idea too. So I'm glad I thought of it. I must have been inspired subconsciously from somebody that I've seen do something like this, because I've never thought of it before. I always compost my scraps from my vegetable broth, I don't know that I would do this with vegetables that had been made in a broth with like chicken or meat or anything, but just doing it with my vegetable broth. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that just make veggie powder, but I don't think for nutritional value.
Right.
And
That's
you
different.
don't really use this because all the nutrition's probably gone from this.
The majority of it, yeah.
So how fun.
How about that? That's a lot of beautiful, beautiful vegetable powder. Ah! Oops. All right, well, this is going to go in my spice cabinet, and I will relabel it my veggie powder, and the rest of this will go down in the pantry. Try it. I highly recommend it, but I highly recommend you play with what you like. Like turmeric would be great in here, paprika, rosemary, all kinds of fun things. Talk to you guys later.